Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inclusive Workplaces with Amara. I am your host, Amarachi Adanaya Igboegwu, and I always like to show my name so you can see how it is spelled. And I'm also known as Amara, so it's like the diminutive of my name, and you're absolutely welcome today. Today is going to be an awesome day because I get to share with you on this platform an incredible friend of mine who's going to be coming on to we're going to be talking about so many interesting topics. But before I jump in and get ahead of myself, I want to say a big welcome to everyone joining in from YouTube. Hello, YouTubers. You're all welcome, and if you're watching on the replay, you're most welcome to the show. And please feel free to engage on the platform. Send comments. I will definitely be looking at it. So a warm welcome to you all. Thank you so much for showing up. Okay, so on Inclusive Workplaces with Amara, the show, I talk about the need to really build and create an environment that's inclusive in the workplace. And we do this by adhering to certain principles and practices. And on this show, I talk about those very principles and practices, the best practices, as well as I intend to, like today, invite other advocates and champions of DEI, other advocates that are really pushing for the need to humanize the workplace. And so today we have Vivian Acquah, who will be joining us shortly in about 10 minutes or so. But before we actually join in, I want to jump in. I want to, let's see here in the comment section, if there's anybody who would like to share where they're coming in from. Maybe you can go into the comment section and just type in where you're coming in from, where you're joining in from. Where are you joining in from? What country are you joining in from? I would love to see. I'd love to practice the different languages I speak. So, if you're coming from a country and I know your language, I will definitely say hello in your native language. You're all very very welcome. So today we're going to be talking about the need for more representation. And when I talk about representation, I'm actually talking about the representation of Black people and people of color in spaces of power and influence. This is Black History Month. We are celebrating Black History Month. And it's so important for us to highlight, and I think especially during this time of year, we're trying to highlight, and raise awareness around the issues concerning Black people and people of color. And so today we're going to be talking about representation, but we're not going to start talking about that yet because a couple of a couple of days ago, I put out a post, and a friend of mine, Audrey, she said, "Well, Amara, I don't know. I think we need to actually start with the definition, right?" She said, "What do we even know about diversity, equity, and inclusion?" And I think that's a great place to start. I think that a lot of times there are many words, DEIs, bandied around. Everyone talks about DEI, DEI. And sometimes it can be confusing for some people because everybody maybe tends to have their own understanding of DEI. I see that there's some comments here. Oh, great. Yay. Oh, fantastic. I see. Oh, great. Okay. So I see a couple of people here. It's fantastic. I see Gary Turner. Hello. Great to see you here. Excellent. Okay, and Helkenberg. Hello. Hello, Helken. Wie geht's? And there's Melanie. Bonjour. Hello, hello, hello. So we're just starting off. And as I said, Vivian will be joining us very soon. But I just wanted to, talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and just really start off with the definition. As I mentioned earlier, my friend was asking me, like, so maybe Amara, you need to start with the definition of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I think I'm going to start right there. And I would love to know, when you hear these words in the comment section, please share with me, with everyone, what do you mean? What do you think it means when you hear the word diversity, equity, and inclusion? What words come to mind? Can you share? Maybe we'll start with that. I would love to start with that. So in the comment section, can you please write, when you hear the words diversity, equity, and inclusion, what words come to mind? Can you share? I'll give it a moment. Okay, I think that it's so important to I really believe that it's extremely important to talk about, terminology, because if you're in an organization and your organization has a completely different understanding of what DEI means, that can be troublesome. I was just in a another live stream with Melanie and oh, I've forgotten her name. It was Anastasia and Beba. I think this is her name. Yeah, I think so. Sorry, Beba, if you're watching this. And in their live stream, they talked about people who are DEI experts, who believe that there's really no such thing as unconscious bias, right? So you can imagine if if you're working in an organization and the idea of unconscious bias is completely uh, ignored, obviously there's a big problem. So it's important. This is why definition is so important. And so when we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, we start off with diversity, which is really an acknowledgement of the ways in which we present, the unique ways in which we present, right? The which we present in the workplace. Given, I mean, this is a workplace scenario or context, and so diversity really is about the different ways we present, the different things that we bring to the table. It really is about being who we are, and it's also the ability to embrace the different ways um, in which we present in the workplace. For example, I have a good colleague of mine who comes to the workplace. He dyes his hair every other month with different colors, and it's amazing. We love it, right? So that's his own way of showing his originality, right? His own authenticity, and he's able to do that in the workplace. So when we talk about diversity, it's really talking about the different ways that we bring, all the different ways in which we I keep saying the word present, but you get the idea. How we come into the workplace, the different mannerisms, our characteristics, both seen and unseen, the different histories and backgrounds and personalities that we bring to the table. So important. So an organization that is aware, that embraces diversity, is one that would embrace the fullness of people. And then we talk about equity. What is equity? Right? Equity is about fairness. When we talk about fairness, we're really talking about addressing people's needs. I always talk about equity as the gateway to equality. A lot of times people tend to mix those up, but it's really addressing people's needs. And an organization that fosters equity is one that would create equitable access, that would ensure that there was equitable pay, that people were met where they're at, and that they provide a system that really enables the growth of their employees. So equity is something that really helps everyone really feel connected, right? Because then you feel like, yes, my needs are being met and they're being addressed. When we talk about inclusion, inclusion is that glue, the glue that brings everything together, right? Inclusion is I love to use this example that I've heard so many times, where we talk about um, inclusion as being as diversity as being invited to a party, and inclusion as being invited to dance. Can you imagine getting to a party that you're invited for and you're not able to get a drink, you're not able to dance, you're not able to talk to anybody? Like, you'd be asking yourself, like, what's the point of being here, right? And that's exactly right, and that's how it feels like for some people. And that's what we're talking about on this show. We want to be able to address the issue of inclusion. So when we talk about inclusion, we're really talking about ensuring that people's voices are heard. That not only are they heard, but they are required. That people feel that their voices count, right? That they're seen. And a lot of times when it comes to decision making, the more you bring staff along, the better, because then people really feel they belong. They really feel connected. And I mean, who doesn't like to have buy-in? I work in the humanitarian sector, and the more you have the buying of the people, of the locals, the more the project works. And the same thing in the workplace. If you don't have the buy-in of your employees, chances are things are not going to go well. So these are some of the elements that are extremely important to be aware of. When we talk about inclusion, it's really the thing that brings these three elements together. The absence of inclusion is just another form of tokenism. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to seem as a performative person or employer. So yeah, this is what we mean when we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion.